What's up everybody, my name is ThymeShock, but you can call me Tater, and these are my thoughts on the Kayle and Morgana rework. Yes, they are finally here. Well, they're not on live servers, but we do have information and a glimpse into how they are going to work. So for those of you who don't know, Kayle and Morgana are sisters. In fact, they're sisters born from the aspect of justice. Kayle, the righteous, wields celestial might and purges lands of the guilty. Morgana, on the other hand, is the fallen, refused to forsake her people. She bound her wings and receded into shadow, pained by her sister's choice. Two sisters, born from justice, chose opposing paths. They bide their time, waiting for the destined day when they cannot evade their other half. That's unhealthy. You shouldn't do that. That's... ugh. Yeah, don't evade each other. So Morgana is just getting a visual update, unlike Kayle, who's getting way more, and we'll get to that in just a second. They talk a lot about how they really just kind of liked her. I did see some mention on Twitter that they are going to be changing her W a little bit. It's going to work the same. It's just going to have different, like, I think, spell vamp properties of some sort. And I don't know if that's going to go through. However, what is going through is they are making her ultimate grant her movement speed when she uses it to help her keep up with the enemies that she is chained to, which makes her, it's a good quality of life buff. And as you can see, Morgana looks pretty great, although she looks a little too similar to Xayah in the face. That's all I see is Xayah for some reason. Maybe that's just me, but her special effects on her abilities or her effects look really cool. They're visually a little bit better, and they look like her Q especially is going to be a better indicator of the hitbox for that, hopefully. We'll see though. Now it's time to move on to Kayle, the one who got the biggest change in this patch. I'm really excited to talk about this, but before we do, I just want to say I really hope they kept Kayle true to her previous identity. Unlike what they did with Aatrox, where they took a character who had an identity of being like an auto attacker who goes in, soaks up all this blood, and it just, you know, goes to war. Now we have Kayle, who is also an auto attacker, but could go between melee range and auto attacking at a distance. She was also a very hyper late game carry, and she's one of the few characters that could actually be played in quite a few roles. In fact, at one point I think she could have been played in just about every role. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what they've done. First, we have to start with the passive, Divine Ascent. Kayle ascends through 4 forms before reaching her divine state. Wow, I need to be wearing my glasses. Hold on one second. Much better. Zealous, level 1. Kayle's attacks grant stacking attack speed, and at max stacks, Kayle becomes exalted and gains movement speed towards enemies. Wow, that's actually pretty nice. So she can kind of kite and chase after enemies. That's pretty cool. A flame at level 6. When Kayle is exalted, her attacks launch flaming waves dealing bonus magic damage. So she is definitely still going to be a wave pusher, and she's going to push that so fast. I love the end of that where she just goes ham with the auto attacks. Arisen, level 11. Kayle evolves into a fully ranged champion. Damn, that's going to be crazy. I really like what they've done with this whole, like, she evolves as the game goes on. That's actually why Kha'Zix is, like, one of my top 5 favorite champions of all time. And then Transcendent, level 16. Kayle takes on her final form, becoming permanently exalted. Her flaming waves deal true damage. Okay, so it sounds like she's going to be a late game carry still. Let's look at her Q. Radiant Blast. Kayle conjures a portal which shoots a flaming blade at an enemy, shredding armor and magic resist and slowing your target. This attack explodes to damage enemies next to the target as well. Okay, let's look at this again because I didn't really... And wow, that goes through, that does a lot of damage. It did the same damage to Camille that it did to Azir. And it shreds both magic resist and armor, and it slows the target. So it's her old slow, but better. My question is it a point and click or is it a skill shot? Because this looks like it's going to be a skill shot, which is really cool. I like it taking, if you're going to make a character really strong, especially like, usually the reworks tend to be strong, and if they're not, they will over buff the character to make sure they are strong. Having a skill shot is so much more bearable than having a point and click that you just can't dodge or escape. So I like that, although that seems crazy. I mean, if she's already doing true damage with the wave mechanic thing, and then she's shredding armor and magic resist and slowing the target, and she deals damage with it. Whew. Celestial Blessing, her W. Kayle heals herself and a target ally, giving both a significant burst of movement speed. Interesting. I think that's actually really interesting that she now heals Did she always heal both? I thought she just healed one person, and now she can heal both herself and someone else, and they both get a burst of movement speed. It's pretty deadly. Her E, Starfire Spellblade. Passive. Kayle's basic attacks deal bonus damage, which scales with both her ability, power, and attack damage. Okay, yeah, I think, that's pretty much on par. I think that's the same. Basic attacks deal bonus damage, which scales with both her ability, power, and attack damage. Yeah, I don't remember. I think that's almost pretty similar to what she had. Active. Kayle's next basic attack is ranged and deals a portion of the target's missing health as bonus magic damage. After ascending to a flame, this attack damages enemies next to the target as well. Interesting. So is this basically where she goes from being a melee to ranged, but her leveling up to 16, then she's permanently ranged? Interesting. I'm not sure how I think about this, or what I think about this. Kayle's next basic attack is ranged and deals a portion of the target's missing health as bonus magic damage. That's pretty crazy. And after ascending to a flame, this attack damages enemies next to the target as well, like her old one where it would just kind of hit in a general area. Very interesting. I really have to see how that one plays out in game. Now let's go to the R. Divine Judgment. Kayle bestows invulnerability onto herself or a target ally for a few seconds. While invulnerable, purifying swords fall in a circle around her target, damaging enemies in the area. This is pretty crazy. From what I know, it is literally her ult, except now it does damage in an area, and it looks like crazy damage. I mean, not like the craziest damage ever, but it looks like a pretty good chunk of damage. But of course, you don't know what they're building in this game or like what the stats are. So it could be like the weakest thing ever. Although I think being invulnerable and doing damage in an area is pretty crazy, especially if she uses it on herself late game where she can already shred through you. She can slow you, get on top of you, and then use her ult, and you just can't retaliate. Now, of course, in her ultimate, I'm assuming she can still be locked down, but if her ultimate is still like a 2-second invulnerability, even if you lock her down for a second and a half, you would need somebody, ironically, like Morgana to lock her down for more than like 2 seconds. That way she can't shred you. So now let's take an in-depth look at Kayle here. Alright, Ornn is actually putting the hurt on her. She's kiting, doing well. That looks like a pretty big slow. She's still, I mean, I know she's only level 11. I love the way her wings look. I think it's cool that they transform, but I almost love the angel wings more than the fire wings. But I still think it's cool to have that effect. He almost died. The Kayle almost died there. Whoa, look at that. I love how she gets the double swords. She looks so cool. Okay, we see the ult come down. It didn't do much. I mean, it's into a Warwick, so it's probably not going to do much to begin with. I don't know. It honestly doesn't look like she does too much damage. It'll be interesting to see what she's like in an actual game. Now, there's, of course, a bunch of information, tips, and tricks, but I usually don't like reading these just because the community will figure out their own tips and tricks, and some of it's like really obvious, and then the not so obvious stuff will probably take a week, and then people will be like, oh, you can do this and this and this, and it's just gets way out of hand. So reading that's crazy. Let's go ahead and look at the extras because that'll be interesting. This is my new background. I love this. What else do we have? This is really cool. I think this one's also really cool. I love the way Kayle looks here. Kayle and Morgana, they just look so cool. Actually, Kayle looks a lot like Freya from Smite, if anyone's ever played that. That's crazy. So here's all the Kayle skins. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know all the Kayle skins. I haven't played Kayle in ages. She was like one of my starter champions, I think, and I haven't played her since. That looks really cool. This looks, I think that looks almost the same. This looks the same. Still a cool skin. This looks cool. Is this Riot Kayle? Is that what that skin was? That looks pretty cool. This looks dope. This is like a superhero skin. Holy shit. This is really cool. I'm really excited to play Kayle. Kayle's going to be cool. However, I also love Morgana. This is one of my favorite skins. It doesn't look like that's changed at all. At least not in the art here. I love playing Morgana mid, actually. Ooh, this is different. She looks like Symmetra from Overwatch. This looks cool. I really, really dig that. We got the Lunar Wraith one. I think that's the same too. They didn't change the card art too much. This one looks different. This looks very menacing. I like that one. And this looks pretty too. So yeah, that's about it. That's all the information we have. Like I said, this should be on probably the PBE today or whenever this video goes live, if the update goes live as well. I'm really excited for these two, but of course, I would love to hear what you guys think. Who are you excited for more, Kayle or Morgana? Do you think you'll be a player of Kayle? Do you think Kayle will actually be able to play multiple positions? Do you think she'll be work? Do you think she'll be weak on release, or do you think she'll be overpowered? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I personally cannot wait to play Kayle. I think Kayle looks dope, but I am also excited to play some more Morgana because I already play her a lot mid lane, and if they're going to be making her W stronger and her R stronger, I think she's going to be more viable than she's ever been in the mid lane. I think she's a good low elo stomper, but as you go up, her relevancy in mid just suffers, and that'll probably stay true. But, you know, I still like playing her from time to time, so I would love to be able to play mid Morgana more effectively, which is exciting. And if I can't, hopefully I can play Kayle mid, because that's where I like to play the most. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you've all enjoyed. Sorry I haven't been uploading. I'm trying to figure some things out in life, and it's just everything's overwhelming and very hectic. But I really wanted to get this out and talk about it. I even considered doing another video covering the new operators in Siege. I just wasn't sure if any of my subscribers or viewers would be into that. If you are, let me know. I will gladly cover some more stuff. Until next time, my name is Tater, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.